All right, William C. Tracy. I'm so glad to have you back on Author Talk with SJC. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been, I guess, not too long since the last time we talked, but
I know. I can't remember. Did we do it just like a year ago?
it,
Was it,
yeah, it might have been. I feel like it was since then, but maybe it was a
it
year
feels like
ago.
it was. Yeah, it feels like it was more recent. I'll have to look it up and see for myself. But you look like you have a lot of good stuff in your background right now.
I do. So this is our year 5 of Space Wizard, our fifth anniversary, and it's three anniversaries because it's our fifth anniversary. It's my 10th anniversary of publishing, and it's my 45th birthday this year. So yeah, everything all
That's
together.
that's a great combination. I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, this year we're putting out another 8 books, 8 queer science fiction fantasy books. Um, as usual, we usually range from about 6 to 12, depending on depending on the year. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of good ones, and we actually have two. We technically have more than 8 because I'm putting out 2 omnibuses this year as well. So so yeah, keep them busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I just had who did I have on? Reese Hogan
Reefs. Yeah.
on the show, and he was had all kinds of praise for you. He we
Okay.
both gave you 5 stars in the video,
Excellent.
and just very grateful for not only the platform you provide and the publishing, space you provide, but also your editing quality
Mm.
and your cover page. I mean, your cover, goodness, book covers.
Yes.
Um, just so much talent there and so much willingness to help people get their stories out there. So
Yeah.
much
Well, thank you.
gratitude.
Yeah. Reese is awesome. I've worked with him for many years. I did basically the edits on all but one of the stories that he published previous to coming to Space Wizard. So I was
Wow.
working as a like deep critique partner with him on that stuff. So yeah, I've had lots of editing work, and he's done the reciprocal as he's edited my stuff as well. Um,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
I love that
So
collaboration.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I like. My writing group and a lot of authors that um, at least the original authors in Space Wizard are basically my writing group. Um, so we all know each other. We have a private Discord server that stuff goes on in the background. um,
Right.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, it's and this year we have mostly actually we have all returning authors except for one. We have one new author this year.
Okay.
So it's a lot of familiar faces. One author is this one actually Rena Rockford is she just put out Mothball Magic in May. So I actually accepted 2 of her manuscripts at the same time. So we put one last year, one this year. So she's technically a returning author. Um,
Yeah.
Even though it's only been since December that we ran the last campaign uh that where she was featured. So
That's what it was. We met for the second campaign.
yes,
That's why it was
ex
that. Yeah, that's why it was more recent. I
yep,
also noticed so Rena Rockford.
Rockford, yes,
So I see why she would like alliteration. I see you
yes.
said what moth, what was it in May?
Mothball Magic, and this is Romance and the Gentle Art of Rocket Racing. Um,
Nice.
yeah, Mothball Magic is basically the Golden Girls meet Dresden Files. Um, So a bunch of geriatric witches and wizards fighting the winter and summer queen of Fae. It's a lot of fun, and it's sort of a road trip across America at the same time. Um,
Yeah.
it's a fun book. And then this one is Heather's actually my wife and one of our copy editors is actually finishing up the last few pages of this, the last copy edit on this before it releases in September. But this one is billed as the Scarlet Pimpernel in space with gender reversals.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's one. So I see you say you have 8 queer books coming out for this round.
Yes, we do,
What
and I'm going to
else
get a
do we
cheat sheet so I
have?
actually remember all the books in orders. Um, Yes, and definitely go to the campaign page because one of these is not up here, and the cover is absolutely incredible. We just got it mostly finished. We're actually still working on the lettering, but the first one to come out in July is going to be Lucianus, and this is a reincarnated wizard who's basically reverse possessed. He's been possessed into a body by the person who cast the spell, so he's been replaced um, and with some mission that he has been given that he doesn't really know what's going on. And he has a sort of suspicious traveler that comes across him in the first few minutes after he awakens. And so it's a really fun. That's also sort of a journey across, except in this case it's a fantasy world. I really like this because you get, it's this long dead wizard, so you see what things were like and you get his impressions of, oh, this, that castle used to be there whenever I was around. I don't know how long ago. And now there's a bustling city. And so you see all these differences in the fantasy world and how it's grown and developed. Plus it has a really nice character story in it. And I wish I could show you the cover of this right now. I'll see if I can get it up somewhere. But if you go to the Backer Kit project, or if you go to Space Wizard Science Fantasy, click on the first link at the top. That'll go to the campaign. It is the first book coming out. It is an amazing cover. It's got Lucianus sort of hand up and sort of the sunburst, and he's holding the travel that
Oh, I
he's
love
with.
that.
Really
Yeah,
good cover.
I'll definitely get those from you and make sure they're on video with us. So,
Yeah, it's an amazing cover. Um, so that's the
and
first
did
one coming
you?
out.
So
Yeah.
who did that cover?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So this is Spoon of Spoonward Studios, who is a now a good friend of mine. We started talking at. I do a lot of markets and conventions during the year, and she's at a lot of the same conventions that I am, sells art and stuff like that.
Cool.
And actually approached me about the recovers for the Seeds of Dissolution, which was a stretch goal for our last campaign. We actually got enough extra money to pay for new covers for my original series, Seeds of Dissolution, um, and Facets of the Nether and Fall of the Imperium, because they had the first cover was one place and the second two covers were with another place and they weren't quite matching. And I wanted more of a artist rendition rather than more of the CG cover. So anyway, she did those. Just delivered those as well as a new cover for the Dissolution Omnibus, which is also something we have in the campaign. Um, and did just amazing work. And so she did Lucianus as well, and then I've just sent her a list of other covers that we're gonna have her
Okay.
work on. Yeah. So look for
So
those.
you said
She did, yeah.
Spoon of Spoonward?
Spoonwood Studios is
Spoonwood Studios. Okay.
yes, is her company.
Fun.
She does really, really nice art. Um, it turns out I actually knew her dad too, because he worked at the same company that I worked for.
That's
Just
fun. Small
weird
world.
coincidence. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's the artist for the first book. So the
Okay.
second book coming out is Aliens in New Florida, which is this one up here. Uh, and this one is a lot of fun. Again, another returning author. Or that first one was our new author, C.J. Bashara for Lucianus. That's our one new author for this campaign. Um,
Okay.
Aliens in New Florida is by Carmen Loop, who is a returning author. Also know them from markets and conventions. We've met many, many times. Actually, just saw them recently, but they put together the Audacity Omnibus, which is originally series one, two, and three, which they sold. They came to me to sell the omnibus altogether.
Hmm.
So I've been doing that. Sells really well because they did all the cover art for it as well as interior illustrations, and they also did the cover art for this one. So they are artist and an author. And this one is a road trip across post-apocalyptic Florida after aliens conquered Earth and then left. And there's like weird cryptids and ambulatory cheese and like just bizarro stuff. Um, so it's really funny. It's very much in the style of Douglas Adams. The Audacity is I bill it as it's Hitchhiker's Guide with queer cozy relationships. Um, this one's sapphic, sort of a sapphic road trip across post-apocalyptic Florida. Uh, uh, it's a lot
I
of fun.
love I love your curation. Like I love the things that you bring together. It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. But people send me these things and I'm like, yes, yes, I would like to publish that.
Yes. You pick good ones. That's great.
Yeah. So we do have a serious one for this campaign though, and that's this one that's coming up. That's the next book coming out, which is Gunmaker. And that one is also by a returning author, Chris Jareb, who did one of our spaceships is missing, which was in our very first campaign. He was actually, I think, the first author who approached me after I opened Space Wizard. Because again, we knew each other through we'd been on some writing retreats before, and I happened to go to it was actually DC Worldcon in 2021, right after COVID, or right sort of in the middle of COVID, really. And I was like, I'm opening my doors, and so we had a chat there, and he's like, I got a book. So that was one of our spaceships was missing, and then he sent me this one later, Gunmaker. So it's technically in the same universe, but it doesn't really matter. But this is an asteroid mining colony, and it's about the sort of parallels, what our corporations are doing today with, workers and how they're treated. So it goes into the premise is Gunmaker. It's an asteroid built, or it's an asteroid, and it's a mining station. Inside of it, there's no guns. So one of the workers, actually a child of one of the workers, makes a gun, and so now you have the power play between the workers and the corporation in charge, and things
Hmm.
get chaotic. So, yeah,
Sounds like a definitely
yeah,
a place to get chaotic.
yeah. So, looking forward to that one. Um, let's see, I have most of these up here so far. So most of the later books are not on here. So this one is next after that, Romance and General Art of Rocket Racing, which we talked about that one. Scarlet Pimpernel in Space. Um, that one's very fun. Colony worlds, you got a lot of different worlds to explore, different societies, sort of post-Earth humanity. Um,
Huh,
really good writing. Um, let's see. I guess let's cover this one, and then I'll go back to this is actually not the next one releasing, but this is coming in November. Promise of Manifest. Has Alex Kingley been on your podcast yet?
not yet.
Okay, we need to get them on there.
Okay.
They are amazing. Worked with this is the third in their series, the Bastion cycle. Started out with Empress of Dust, which actually was the winner of the science fiction category in last year's. And I'm gonna get this. Yeah, small spec book awards. Um, so yeah, that's got first place for science fiction, which is
That's
excellent. Their first
awesome.
sort of larger award for Space Wizard. Uh,
Yeah.
and then
Congratulations
yeah, thank you. So and it's Alex's book, so
to
it's
you and to Alex. Yeah.
yeah. So the second book, Relic of Haven, came out last year, and then this one is Promised of Manifest, which is the last book in the series, and it's sort of again post-apocalyptic giant crab monsters and human scavengers. And the second one has some other creatures, one of which is this, which appears on the third book. So that's going to be the conclusion of the series and sort of explores post-humanity, how we're changing as a species, and how we regard the natural world around us. Uh,
Okay.
it's a lot of fun, and one award, so it's not just me saying it's good.
Right. I have proof.
Yeah. Um, let's see.
I
So
love
we
the
got
cover of that one too.
yeah, that one is really good. That's more books. Actually, three of these are all from the same designer, which is sort of the main designer I work with. They do a really good job. They've got a lot of good feedback, and or they take a lot of good feedback. And this one was just like we changed one thing on this, and it was basically done with the first one they sent us. Um,
Awesome.
uh,
Who
same
is it that you can we
more
promote them
books.
at all?
Yeah, absolutely. More books. It's Moor books. They're out of I'm gonna get it wrong, but they're out of Eastern Europe somewhere. But it's a really, really good design company. They do really good work, very easy to talk with. They do great revisions too. A lot of designers will be like, we have this, and we have one revision, and that's it. This one actually took us quite a bit because we were trying to get the picture just right, and they're very gracious and very helpful, and willing to do revisions to get the cover just right. So,
Great. Okay.
yeah. They book up pretty fast. Yeah, I will I will suck up, probably 7 or 8 of their spots a year for my books. Um, but yeah, they do a good job. Um, all right, well, let me finish this out. We got 3 more books, which is actually sort of two. Um, the one coming out between this one and this one is my next book,
Oh,
which is Pressure Magic. This is my new progression fantasy series I'm working on, and it's just fun. It's This is my first series that I've done more than 3 books, so this is the third book, and it's going to be like an 8 or 9 book series. So
oh, that's
just
great.
starting to, yeah, just starting to get into things with that. The cover is coming along with that. It's not quite done, but we have some sketches for it. But it's
Really
basically it's like martial arts magic that channels the gods, and it's a world where islands move very quickly, like 400 times faster than our world, so they actually crash into each other. And the gods are tied to the islands, so their powers sort of move around with the islands, and you get different stuff like that. Uh,
cool.
yeah, so you can uh, you can get the whole series, all 3 books in the campaign, and catch up to it if you haven't read the first ones.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then I guess the last one that's coming out is by J.S. Fields, who's our second most prolific author at Space Wizard, aside from me. Um, and they are re-releasing Queen, which was previously with another publisher, about a sort of a response to like 1970s sort of sci-fi with an all-woman world.
Uh,
Uh, and it's sort of this terrible world that just has like one strip of land, and it's tidally locked. So each one side is really hot, one side is really cold, and you have a strip of land in the middle. And they sort of dump all the women they don't want on this world. Except the main character is intersex, and the
okay.
author is actually intersex as well. So it's a really good story. Brings all that sort of chaos into it. And then the second in that, it's going to be a trilogy, I think. The second book, Obsidian, is also coming out, and that will be a completely new one for Space Wizard. So that will
Oh,
continue this
nice.
year. Yeah.
So it's Queen and then it's Obsidian. That's the
Hmm.
second one?
Those
Okay.
are the first two. And then the third one will be in a later campaign. But yeah.
That's awesome. Now, who's the author again?
That is J.S. Fields. They
Okay.
have done the Argillum series. They're also the editor on the Lesbians in Space anthologies. And yeah, that one.
This one
That
right here. Ta-da.
That one and the second one, and they're an editor on all of the other lesbian anthologies that we've done. We call them our lesbian editor because they pick up all the tropes and stuff. That's like, no, you need this for this story.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, so great writer. They've written a whole lot of books, and then also do a great editing job. Again, a good friend of mine, critique partner. We've been in our writing group forever.
Yeah,
um, I have edited most of their books. They've edited most of my books. Um, so it's
that's
yeah.
fun. I love that collaboration. I worked with a author. He's going to be on the channel soon as well, but we talked for 2 hours, so I have a lot of editing to do. But he and I, because we'd never actually talked before,
Oh yeah.
we'd always been on chat, or texting and everything. But I narrated one of his first books, and then
Oh cool.
he edited for me. I edited and narrated, and then he edited for me as well. And we had that collaboration. But that was so much fun. That's the only lengthy book that I've done
Mhm.
narration for. Mostly I've done other small, shorter things. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And that really introduced me to the collaboration in the industry, and
Mhm.
very just been blown away since then by everybody who's works together and helps each other. It's awesome.
Yeah. The especially the science fiction fantasy community is actually pretty small. Um, like surprisingly small. I
Hmm.
go to all the World Cons, which is the World Science Fiction Fantasy Convention. I've been going to, I missed the one in China, but aside from that, I've been to every one since like 2018 or so,
Wow.
2017. But it's been going on since the 1930s. So it's been going on for a long time. Yeah, like they
Wow.
stopped
Okay.
for World War II and then kept going. Uh,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But last year was in Seattle. This year is in Los Angeles. It's all over the world. So they're going to be in Dublin, I think, again soon, potentially Montreal and all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. My wife informs me from off screen. Montreal is next year. Um,
Thanks,
uh,
Heather.
yeah, but that's like all the premier science fiction fantasy writers come to that. So like in years past, you
Hmm.
wander around and there's George R. R. Martin walking down the street, and there's Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle and um, just like all of the big name sci-fi authors that you've you've seen and loved growing up. Um,
Wow.
like Asimov used to go to the convention, and just like everybody would go there. Um, so it's really fun to see that. And then also once you go to some of those, once you start to be in sort of the publishing sphere, it's like, oh yeah, I know that person, and I know that person, I know that person. So in fact, so for Lesbians in Space, for that anthology, we were at the Glasgow, Scotland Worldcon, which was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Um, and while we were there, we talked to Mary Robinette Kowal, Shauna McGuire, Emma Newman, and Travis Baltrey, who are all there, and that's how we signed them on for the Lesbians in Space anthology. Uh,
Nice. Okay.
so yeah, things happen at Worldcon.
And I know you met several of the authors, at least from the early years, at writing excuses. What is
Yes,
it called?
writing excuses. Yeah, the writing excuses cruise, which is also overlap with Mary Robinette, because she's a part of that. So that's where I met her, and we've she's doing the narration now because of our campaign in March. We ran a campaign to get the audiobook of Lesbians in Space, and she's doing the narration for that, which she has, I think, finished like today, or yesterday. Just finished recording it, so I'm hoping to get that very, very soon. Um,
Nice. I love narration. It's so much fun. I
yeah,
love I love to do it. It's such a fun art.
yes.
I'll tell people I want to be a cartoon when I grow up.
Yeah, we have several of our authors are doing audio. Carmen is did the audio for Audacity, and then they're also going to do audio for Aliens in New Florida. And I think Alex is actually going to do the audio for Relic of Haven and Promise of Manifest. We had somebody else do the first one, and that uh, book didn't get picked up for the other ones, which was surprising. But we're like, all right, Alex can do it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Did we get through the whole list of eight?
Let's see. We got through the list of eight.
Hmm.
And I said we did have omnibuses as well.
Yes.
So the new cover for the Seeds of Dissolution, interior of that isn't changing. That's just a new cover. But we do have two new omnibuses, one of which is the Quirk and Moth collected omnibus, which is another of our writing a group and good friend of mine, Robin C.M. Duncan, who wrote the Quirk and Moth series, which is 3 books, and then we're adding two, three, two or three other short stories in the omnibus as well. So you get a little taste of stuff. One was not published anywhere else, so that's going to be a new story for everybody.
Mm.
But that collects the. Now I'm looking at it. So 2 stories, one of which is not published, and then the trilogy. So that's going to
Okay.
be a chunker. That's going to be. I just threw it all together. It's about 1,150 pages. Um, so it's a big one.
That's amazing. So tell
And
me about the, yeah, no,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. About Cork and Moth or about the other one?
Sure.
So that one is a detective. It's like near future Earth, sort of quirky detective with a sort of mysterious past. And the first book, he's saddled with this foul-mouthed teenage girl who's in the convent, who's like been stuffed in the convent because she's the like niece of a mob boss. Um, so we get the delightful interplay between this like 14-year-old girl, a Catholic girl, and this detective.
Nice.
And Robin is Scottish, so the just the turn of phrase and everything is excellent for that. Um, So yeah, it's the whole series so far on that one. He's currently working on book 4, and that will be coming out in I think the next campaign.
Okay. And what's the title of that one?
That one is tentatively the Quirk and Moth Omnibus. Um,
Okay.
we will. That's what I'm going with now. We'll see how that works with the actual cover once we get it. But yeah,
That's a fun
um,
name.
yes. And then the other omnibus that we're doing, which is a new thing for Space Wizard, is Space Wizard Novellas Volume 1. So we've published, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 novellas um, since starting up Space Wizard, and it's sometimes harder to sell novellas. They're smaller books. At conventions and online, they don't generally get as much attention. So I wanted to make sure they stay present and that people can read them. So putting them all together in an omnibus, and then you can get it and sort of get a selection of all these fantasy and sci-fi stories at once, uh, which, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I remember I have Peace in the Sky on my
Mhm.
bookshelf. Was
Yep.
that considered a novella?
Yep. So
Novella?
that's one
Okay.
of them. Yeah. Peace in the Sky. Oh man. Okay, now I'm gonna have to look it up just to get
And
the
the
get the
sequel is
full list
Station in the
for you.
Sky.
Yeah. So the now I'm gonna lose it. Where'd it go? I'm searching on the campaign page real quick. Uh
The page is so much fun to explore. There's so many different,
yeah.
it's
There's
easy to explore for one thing, and it's
well that's good.
also fun. Yeah, I like to be able to search and,
Yeah.
search features are helpful.
Okay. So we've got A Rye with Dandelions by J.S. Fields. That was the first novella we put out. Peace in the Sky, which you talked about. Ajakava by Chaitanya Murali, who's an Indian author. We have The Witch and the Ostrich by Jordan Warner, and I'm actually doing the developmental edit on the second full book that comes after that right now, and it is hilarious. Um, that's a really fun book. And then we have the newer ones, Isaac, which came out last year by Ali Mead, and then It's You, Isn't It, by Anthony Pashos, a Greek writer. That's sort of a gonzo far future sci-fi novella. Um, and then we also have the mid-grade. This is sort of in between novella and book, but Junk Junction by Sarah Coder. And that's a fun sort of creepy mid-grade book with ghosts and creepy dolls and stuff like that. Um,
Mid-grade as far as length, not quality, I know.
yes, yes, I should say middle grade. I actually had somebody call me out on that a couple years ago. It was like, don't
Really?
call this book mid grade. Yeah, it's like no, it's middle grade. That's an abbreviation for it. But yeah, middle grade is in like ages 8 to 12, 13, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm. So is that young? That's not
it's not
young adult. It's not,
right.
yeah, I guess not
It's
quite young adult. It's still,
yeah, it's in the. I think. Well, I don't know if it's technical, but there's generally regarded as middle grade, which is like um once kids start getting into full chapter books, anywhere from that to
mm,
like, you know, preteen, early teen, and then you have YA, which is usually teen to late teen. There's another group called New Adult, which a lot of the publishers were pressing about 3 or 4 years ago, and it didn't really go anywhere. But that's the sort of like we can delve into sort of adult issues, but it's still kind of a YA book. Um, and then
mm.
you get like full adult trade books.
I think we just all need to admit that we like to read YA books and just leave it
Yeah,
at that.
that's pretty much it. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I've read some really good middle grade books as well.
Mm.
Um, there's Sanderson's Alcatraz books, if you heard of those, I
I
believe that's
haven't,
considered middle
I'm
grade.
reading Words of Radiance right now.
Yeah,
It,
okay.
it takes
Yeah.
years to read his books.
Yeah, so that's on this side. The Alcatraz books are actually fairly short.
Oh,
But it's
interesting.
yeah, it's a really cool series. He's pretty much finished it up, I think. But it's a like alternate Earth with evil librarians who are trying to like occlude how people read books, and then the main
Funny.
characters all have a they have a magic power that's a fault. Like one of the characters is always late and uses that as a magic power, and the main character breaks things. But that's
Can
his
I have those?
yeah. Um, so it's a fun series, and of course Sanderson is Sanderson, so he can write a cool magic system.
Right. That's hilarious. I really want to check that out now.
Yeah,
It
they're
makes me
really fun
think of
books.
it makes me think of how Rick Riordan in the Percy Jackson series ended up
Yeah.
making ADHD and dyslexia the
Mhm.
superpowers of the demigods, like that,
Yeah.
the battle reflexes and reading Greek. I thought that
Right.
was such a cool twist.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. I love those books. I haven't read the later ones, but I read the original five, I think.
I
Um,
think I did too. Yeah, just the originals.
yeah.
Yeah.
I read mostly indie books nowadays, and of course all the stuff coming into Space Wizard. So yeah.
Hmm.
Although I am reading through the Hugo nominees for this year because I do that every year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like N.K. Jemison's Broken Earth
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
series. Oh my
And I think
gosh.
that's one of the only Hugo nominations that's won for every single book in a trilogy 3 years in a
3 years
row.
in a row.
Yeah.
That was
And that was
incredible.
it was an
Yeah.
amazing series. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
I used to collect all the Newbery. I tried to
Mm.
collect the Newbery medal winners, and then and I've got a good collection, but then I think Hugo kind of caught my eye. I'm like, I feel like Hugo is the grown-up Newbery,
Yeah,
and now I
it
want to
sort of
look
is.
at
Yeah. I grumble now because I'm trying to get more indies into the Hugos. That's
it.
my sort of
Okay.
uh yeah, sort of my underdog objective to I was really pushing to get lesbians in space in there. I didn't quite get the votes to get to that, and it's hard to put an anthology into the Hugos.
Oh,
However,
okay.
it is one of the four shortlisted finalists for the British Fantasy Awards coming this year.
Nice.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, that I am looking forward to that. They're going to announce that in October, so we'll fingers crossed see what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I know you said you got we've got a science fiction award from last year already.
Yes. Yeah.
Now
For
you're
the first for
shortlisted for
Empress
another.
of Dust. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're getting
Awesome.
there. Space Wizard's starting to get some awards and get some more around.
That's
It's
great.
really funny because where was that? So I went to it was a market just recently because like I said, I do about 20 or 25 markets a year. All sorts
Nice.
of stuff, pop-up markets around where we are in North Carolina, and we go to Worldcon, which is around the world. Um, I think I was at a little local market in Raleigh and had somebody come up and ask for the second book when the second book in a series was coming out, and I'm like, oh, it's going to come out next year or something. And they're like, oh no, it was my series. It was the Intent Magic. It was Pressure Magic, and I was like, it's going to come out this October. And she was like, oh darn, because I got the first and the second one at Worldcon in Seattle, and I'm like,
Nice.
okay, great.
Ah,
And you're in North Carolina, I guess. Uh,
right.
so yeah,
How funny.
yeah. And then Seattle was amazing because we had almost all the authors in the Lesbians of Space anthology were there. And we got a couple books. We tried to round them all up and get everybody to sign in, and we got a couple books with 10 or 12 signatures in them.
Oh my
It was a
gosh.
lot of fun to do. Yeah.
It's like looking at the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
All the signatures. Wow. Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I you mentioned Isaac earlier. That's one of the ones I've
Hmm.
read as well. I think Isaac by Ali Mead, Peace in the Sky,
Hmm.
um, Corruption,
Yep.
Alexander Burbeek-Unventoren.
Hmm.
Um, what did I just read? Reese Hogan. Oh, My Heart is
Yeah.
Human.
My Heart is
Reese
Human.
Hogan.
Yeah, that one is so good. That
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
All those books you named are good. I really like those. I can sort of gauge your type of reading from from those.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, my Heart is Human still sells. Like I just sold two at the last convention I was at. Because people will just pick it up all the time. Really good book.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Isaac was also really well done. It's a lot of impact for such a short book. So
Mm.
certainly looking for more from that author whenever they get around to their next book.
Yeah. Come on, Allie, you got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited to just talk to the authors from your publishing space and just I mean, I'm just blown away. Like each book that I've read, I think, okay, I know it's indie books
Mhm.
and it's a risk and but then I'm at least 4 or 5 books in and I've never been disappointed. So
Well, that's good. Well, thank you. Yeah, I was again talking about so we were just at Con Carolinas, which is a big one of the biggest conventions in North Carolina, literary conventions. And that's in Charlotte every year. So we were there, and that I get to see a lot of my fellow authors and publishers and meet a lot of friends. And we're talking about that on the panel, that I really like to put out. I think of Space Wizard as putting out quality science fiction and fantasy that all happens to be queer.
Hmm.
And so, I'm focusing on really, really good books with the contingent that, all there have some queer representation in it. But, primarily I really want good books, good covers. You know, I want to make a showing for indie books so that people understand that, yeah, there are really good stories out there and new stories and, types of stories that traditional publishing won't touch because it's a risk. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for Space Wizard Science Fantasy. It just ah, I don't even know. I don't even remember how we discovered each other, but I
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a friend of a friend somewhere on Facebook, maybe. Yeah,
probably yeah. But yeah, just again, the industry, the networking is just amazing when you talk to three people, you're already connected to 20 more, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. And now we're in our fifth year, so I'm actually getting, some people recognizing Space Wizard and getting more requests. Our publishing schedule is basically full to the end of 2028, right now. I just accepted one more book, and I'm like, I'm gonna cram it in there somewhere, but yeah, right now I'm only taking submissions either where I've talked to the person or if it's a requested one from a pitch event or something. So if you're an
Yeah.
author and you want to get something with Space Wizard, either come talk to me personally at a convention, or the one that I regularly crawl through for submissions is a small pitch, which is a pitch event usually a couple times a year. Actually, it should be coming up in July is the second one. So there's usually one in January, one in July, and that is specifically for small presses. So it's if you're familiar with like the pitch stuff that went on back on Twitter and then now on Blue Sky and things like that. Okay,
I don't think
so
so.
there was like SF Pit and Dark Pit and YA Pit, and it basically you back before Twitter became a whole, was basically you get a tweet of your pitch, your elevator pitch, and then you put tags at the bottom for like YA or dark or queer or whatever. And then it's announced on the site, and agents and publishers will be looking over that and filtering that for those tags.
Hmm.
And the the whole setup was if an agent likes it, then you have permission to send that in as a pitch. Uh,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
it worked really well. It was a great way to get a whole bunch of quick pitches out, and agents would get, you'd see at the end of the day, agents like, wow, I favorited 5 things here, and I'm really looking forward to those. So small pitch is working on that, and it's become social media independent because it's a lot harder to get traction there nowadays. So it's actually got its own website, Small Pitch. And I helped them out with some feedback on some of the first mechanisms for this, which is I really like their stuff. But they
Nice.
have a whole program in there that basically all the authors can submit all their stuff with all the, basically a tweet with all their tags and whatever into their database, and then they contact all the small presses and say, okay, you have 3 days, you can go through these and you can request what you want. So I regularly request about 5 or 6 each time that comes out, and I usually accept one or two, maybe, depending
Hmm.
on my load. But um,
Right.
I have got some excellent books that way. This one was from a small pitch. This and Mothball Magic were from small pitch. Crying Out for Magic was from small pitch that came out last year. Um, and there's some others in there too, but just accepted another one a couple days ago.
That's great. Good to know. Yeah, I might have to look at that for myself, actually. Just
Yeah,
yeah. Huh, okay. My cousin and I are both trying to get more into the industry of writing, editing, things
yeah,
like that. And um, she asked me one day, she was like, "Can you give me a call?" And I was like, "Sure." So I gave her a call, and she said, "So how do you like? I want to know how you got into the industry and everything." I said, "First of all, let me stop you right there because." The word industry,
yeah.
just you saying that word reminds me that I have not. pursued my craft with the thought of it being in an industry. It's like
Mhm.
I'm at home in a corner of my room,
Right.
editing or writing or whatever. And I said, just you saying the word industry already, you're going to help me. Like you're
Yeah.
asking for my help, but I definitely feel like we're going to help each other because
Yeah.
the last probably a couple months or so, I've tried to kind of look at the business side of it and understand, it is important to, you know, uh, promote in a way that might actually get your book into people's hands,
Yeah.
and not just hand it out to your friends, but
Right.
really try to get it out there. So I'm curious
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. It is. I'm deep in that side of it. Actually being on the publishing side. But I always have been, even since self-publishing. And before I put out my very first book, I think I've said this on a previous one, but we started it at Writing Excuses. Basically saw some behind the scenes, saw agents, got to talk to agents, authors, whatever. And after we left the first cruise, I'm like, I can do that. And
Nice.
so I did probably 5 months of research and then put out my first book. And put out as a novella, but put out four novellas, put out my Dissolution trilogy, and then a couple other books, and that basically started Space Wizard uh, not long after that. Um, so I've been on that side of publishing forever, and probably 5 to 8 years before that, I was doing critiques on a online critique group, to the tune of 5 entries of 5,000 words a week. So,
Wow.
and that really helped hone my editing craft. And that was my basis to go into what I do now, which is, basically editing everything that comes out of Space Wizard plus any other commissions I get, which is usually a few a year, some in the campaign, which you can, if you're looking for a developmental edit, go to the campaign. We offered a discount there, so you can get it cheaper. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, so I get a few commissions out of that every year. But that really helped hone my craft and see how stories are made and look at the indie stories versus the traditional stories, traditionally published, and see where their differences. Um, but then, of course, also the actual business side is the big part of it, which is huge and vast and complex. And I to the point where I actually teach a 1 hour seminar at conventions now, which is my wife and I call it the spreadsheet class, but it technically is, I'm selling books, but am I making money? And it goes into, how do you sell books? What are your costs behind it? How do you actually publish a book indie? What are the ins and outs of that? And it of course has a spreadsheet with it. So I send that out to all the people on there with, here's a template of basically how you can tally up your stuff for, I put a book out, am I actually making money on this? Because there's a lot of hidden costs, and spoilers, you probably won't make money with one book,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
sad but true.
I know I when I interviewed Honey Parker on this channel, she said her husband told her your third book sells your first book.
Yep.
So I'm actually working on my third right now. So
Yeah. Right.
fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. And that's like, for the example of the series I'm working on now, with the martial arts magic and whatnot, um, hasn't sold a whole lot. But again, now I'm on book three, and now I want to, like, after this third one comes out, I'll probably put out a first omnibus of the first three books, which then you can buy that one and get the whole story set far. That'll bring people in, and then once you read all three books, it's like, well, what's the next story, and so on and
Right.
so forth.
That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, mine is a series of eight. So I wonder if maybe after I do the fourth one, I should do a half.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a good way to do it. Omnibuses are. I started doing the hardbacks in the campaign 3 years ago now. People love them. You get a
Huh.
big, nice, shiny hardback collector's edition. You could kill a chihuahua with it, and it's it's um
You
it's just
wouldn't,
fun.
but you could.
You could, yeah. Just don't drop it on your foot. And yeah, but it's like, mine are pretty much either about, they're from about 600 to 1100 pages. Um, so
Okay.
that's at 10-point font, so it's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like a
So
Sanderson.
yeah, yeah, it is really. That it's funny because I think I actually did a check at one point, and my one of entire trilogy from me is smaller than one of his books. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's funny. Well, I want to check in on one more thing.
yeah,
So, spacewizardsciencefantasy.com, right?
yes,
Okay.
yep,
So you can go straight there, spacewizardsciencefantasy.com. Say that 10 times fast.
yeah,
And then you can go to Backer Kit as well
mhm,
and find you there.
yes.
Tell me
And I
about
should,
where you are in the campaign right now and what people can do to, join in.
yeah, exactly. And I should give a shout out because I've been neglecting this. It's not just me this time. So Backer Kit has a really cool function they've put in the last couple of years, which is a collaboration. And I'm actually part of the Book Bazaar, which is put together by a friend of mine through a different collaboration. She sort of set off on her own and said, like, well, I can do that, and created a collaboration. And so I'm taking that name. Um, that's happening every October, November. I'm making a subset of that, and now it's the summer bonanza of the Book Bazaar. So for Pride Month again. So my campaign is on there. We have 10 other publishing campaigns. Most all of them also have some queer aspect to the books. I think I want to say pretty much all of them actually have some sort of queer element in them. But it's 11 campaigns, and it's amazing. The whole thing is right now over $21,000 for all 11 campaigns. So that's been raised in what, 5 days? We started last Thursday, and right now it's the beginning of the campaign. Um, so we raised, $21,000 in 5 days for 11 campaigns. If we get to 20, 23, 24,000, that's basically enough to fund all 11 campaigns. Um, and
It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, so definitely go look at that. And we have some extra fun stuff as well. So if we get to that first one, we have a special thing. So if you back 5 campaigns, you're going to get a sticker sheet with stickers of all the covers of all the books in the campaign. Um, and if we hit the basically the funding goal, we're going to put extra fun stuff in the stickers as well. Um,
That's awesome.
but if we hit double the amount, so this is our sort of stretch goal for everything. If we hit double the amount, we're going to do what's called an exquisite corpse, which is a story where most all the creators, whoever is comfortable doing this, where someone's going to write the story, they give it to somebody else writes the next story, give it to so we're going to have a story created by all of our creators or most of our creators, which is just going to be chaos. So
That's awesome. Oh, please. I really hope we raise enough money for that. Yes,
yes.
please.
So yeah, help us get to that. It's 45,000 for the whole collective. And I think we broke 52,000 with the one last October. So definitely possible. Um, but yeah, as of this moment, we are like $300 away from funding. 330, something like that. Um, away from funding. So we're very close to funding already. Uh, and then just my personal campaign. Um, and then we have some cool stretch goals, which are the new covers for those omnibuses. We have a short story coming up. We can potentially fund an audiobook if we get that far. Um,
That's great. And
yeah,
we also have the audiobook to look forward to with Lesbians in Space, right? From last year.
right. That will be coming out middle of this month. So if you backed that
Great.
campaign in March, um, I've already sent out all the physical rewards. That's pretty much the only thing that's left. And as soon as I get it, that's going out to everybody. So if you back that campaign, you should be getting it in a couple weeks, something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, I have to say, happy Pride Month.
Yes. To you as well.
I almost broke my room when I tried to grab the flag a few minutes ago, if you didn't see that. But,
Yeah.
but yes, happy Pride Month. I'm so excited that you are on year 5. I hope you
Yeah.
continue strong. And if you need an extra narrator or editor, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and whenever you have a book finished, feel free
Yeah,
to send it my way.
I gotta get it into space and wizardry and science and fantasy. Then I can
That's
bring it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I have a lot of people come up to me at markets and are like, I have this book. And I'm like, have you finished it? No. go finish your book.
That's a very clever. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Good motivation.
Yep.
Awesome. Bill, thank you so much. It's been so great to talk to you
Yeah.
again. And I look forward to the next one, which I'm sure will be very soon.
Yep. Next one.
45,000. Let's do it.
Yes. 45,000 on this one. And so quick preview. I already have the next two campaigns for this year set up. So we're doing the audio for Lesbians in Space, the Sapphic Strike Back in September with Printopia, and then we're doing part two of year 5 in October with the main book bazaar. So that will have 7 more books in it that you can read.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will definitely talk again, and I look forward to it. So, send me all the book covers, and I'll put them on here somewhere.
Yep.
So
Sounds good.
it'll be beautiful for everybody. And yeah, have a great day, Bill.
Awesome. All right. You too. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.